World Health Organization has officially announced and listed gaming disorder as a thing.
I saw that.
So they mentioned that they were talking internally about this quite some time ago now. But now it's officially listed. It's in their documentation. It is a thing. I have written down here what it takes for you to be diagnosed as this, because a lot of people have looked at this and turned into a meme where it's like, oh, I play games now, let me park in a disabled spot, shit like that. And obviously just playing a lot of video games is not the fucking you're not going to get labeled with this disorder. A doctor's not going to be like, here's some meds.
Yeah.
So this is what they said. This is a direct quote from them. Simply playing a lot of games is not enough to count as a disorder. Rather, the disorder occurs when gaming interferes with people's daily lives. According to the World Health Organization, gaming disorder is, in quotes here, a pattern of persistent or recurrent gaming behavior in which people lose control of their gaming behavior, lose control of their gaming behavior, giving priority to gaming over other interests and activities, and can continue gaming despite negative consequences, such as impairments in their family relationships, social lives outside of gaming, of course, work duties, other areas like that.
Yeah.
So they're looking at it as a almost its own branch of addiction.
Yes.
Like any other form of addiction.
Yes.
So like, you have like any kind of drug addiction or alcohol addiction, gambling, things of that nature. This is a like almost another branch on that tree. Except gaming is the thing instead. The only thing in here that would be gray area and would be something that doctors would have to look at, I guess, when determining the interference of gaming with everything else, is that they list here, and that's why I made specific outside of gaming, the interference with social lives. So for some people, online gaming is their social life. They come home from work, their online gaming is their social life.
Big part of mine.
Exactly. So, so I think that's like one of the more, all of this is always subjective when a doctor is looking at something and trying to determine, how much is really happening here. But I think this is a pretty severe thing. We're looking at a case where it's like a child is telling their parents to go fuck themselves and trying, demanding a bunch of shit and not doing anything, in school or anything else, and all they're doing is playing Fortnite and jerking off to anime. Like, that's the picture in your head that you have for like a gaming disorder, right?
Yeah.
And that's like an addictive thing, and you see that stuff. There are people chirp Dr. Phil all the time because he is a TV personality, but the dude's not a fucking idiot. And
he's a doctor.
He's talked about this stuff before, where he'll like kids have come on the show and he's looking at it and he's going, these parents fucked these kids up bad.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're seeing kids that like run the household and stuff, and it's because the parents have folded and they're just doing nothing but playing fucking video games all day, every day, with no consequence.
Yeah.
But they're failing in school. They're not, spending time with any of their friends. They're not really, building anything in their lives outside of the gaming thing.
Yeah.
So I personally, a lot of people are making a big deal of this. I don't give a fuck. I think this is fine. I think everyone, if they're being honest with themselves, knows somebody that might actually fall. If you're a hardcore gamer or somebody that plays a lot of games, you probably have somebody in your social circle that would come damn close or falls into this category, where they have let everything else in their lives, their working life, their relationships with their partner or lack thereof, because of gaming, not because they don't want one. Like, they might talk about wanting one, but they never like go out and actively seek it because all they do is play games.
Yeah.
Things of that kind of behavior. I think everyone probably has at least one person that could fall under this.
Yeah.
And that's no different than some people probably knowing somebody who might have a problem with alcohol, or somebody that has a problem with any kind of
Eating,
addictive behavior.
Whatever.
Exactly.
Whatever, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think they should just call it what it is. It's an addiction. That's what it is. What are they calling it? A disability?
Disorder.
Oh, a disorder.
Yeah, it's a disorder.
Yeah, okay, well, I guess that's a good word for it. I mean, it's an addiction.
Yeah.
And it's tough, really, for any addiction. I mean, like you said, I don't see it any different than being an alcoholic or being a drug addict or anything. you're not physically putting something in your body and having, a chemical react. Oh, I'm sure there is chemical reactions going off even playing games. But I mean, you know what I mean? You don't physically see the addiction.
Yeah.
But it is consuming every area of your life and negatively. I definitely even have those traits of being addicted to work or whatever, workaholics.
I mean, there are people that are addicted to going to the gym where they will let everything else in their life go to the wayside to go to the gym.
They won't pay their rent. They'll be spending $800 a month on supplements, juice, whatever they can. Right? They'll do anything to the extreme to do what they love. Right?
Yeah.
Or what makes them feel good.
Too much of anything.
Too much of anything can be a bad thing.
Can be a bad thing and be a detriment. Yeah.
And honestly, man, like, I'm probably going to say something that's fairly controversial, but I think it's up to also streamers like ourselves and people of influence that are sort of leading the charge on playing video games, because a ton of people that watch our streams or podcasts or whatever, some of them are probably playing video games right now or probably playing video games all the time or whatever. I think it's on us, or not on us, but I think it's not a bad idea for people like us to promote getting out and doing things and being social and taking time to spend with family and whenever somebody's in my chat and they're like, dude, I need to fucking do the schoolwork, but I can't stop watching. I'm like, go do your schoolwork. This is always here. We're not going anywhere. And so I don't think it's, like I said, I shouldn't say it's our job to do that, but I think it's a real thing, man. Like I've seen it, and there's good that comes out of it, and there's bad that comes out of it. Like anything, I've seen tons of people that I've met at cons and just at everyday life that met their spouse on World of Warcraft or through a community, and now they're together. And they've created, they're married, they got kids, you got all these things. There's great that comes out of it, but then I've also met the people, and I've seen stories. I've had people email me and shit that they've spent too much time playing World of Warcraft. I know I'm kind of picking on World of Warcraft right now, but spend too much time MMOs, you really get into it. Even now I'm playing Grand Theft Auto RP, and I'm really getting into this shit. I'm getting lost in this. I'm starting to say things as my character in real life, spending a lot of time in front of the computer. So absolutely, I think it's a real thing. I think it's not a bad thing to talk about. People can joke about all they want, but like you said, if you're being honest with yourself, or you may know somebody very well. I mean, if you're a hardcore gamer, there are people that border that where you're like, bro,
100%.
come outside, come out to my house for a barbecue, or fucking let's go to the movies. And they're like, no. I need to be.
It's Tuesday. I've got to raid.
Dude, I played fucking RuneScape for a year. You want to talk about addicts?
Oh man,
it's literally
optimization all the time.
It's literally they can't, a lot of them cannot do anything in their life without being efficient. They can't, and now they've got it on their phones.
Yeah.
So now they're fucking going around doing it on their phones. If that isn't an addiction, then I'm not saying anybody's bad for that or anything like that, but it's good that there is something out here that it is being recognized and that people can get help for it. It's not doesn't make you a bad person. There comes a time where you just gotta, drop it. I mean, I've seen people that have had kids and they're like, dude, I had to just drop it cold turkey. I can't install WoW anymore. I can't install RuneScape anymore. I can't play StarCraft anymore. It just consumes too much of my time. I don't make time for my loved ones, and it's ruining my relationship, or it's doing this, or it's making me feel terrible. I'm not getting work done, and I'm not using my time effectively. It's like that really for anything. You abuse it enough, like you said, even the gym, something that would be considered healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
You do it enough, bro, and you're not working. You don't want to work. All you want to do is this. It can be a problem. So, hey, I'm happy that it's out there. I can see why people meme it, because at the end of the day, I think we're all a little bit addicted to video games in some way, shape, or form.
It's like people feel like they're getting attacked. It's like if I play a game, people think that just because they play games now all of a sudden it's like they think that the WHO is saying they have a disorder.
That's not it.
Which is
You're
obvious,
not sick.
Which is obviously not it.
Exactly. Just because you play video games, you go on binges and you love to play video games on every waking hour of your free time does not make you have a disorder or you're an addict.
No.
It means you enjoy that as your part of your escape, your entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's meant for.
Yeah.
But when it is consuming your sleep, your relationships, your ability to work, your, everything. It's good. That's
I've seen arguments where it's like, well, nobody talks about how binge watching a shitload of fucking Netflix, every opportunity that you have, or sitting down and watching like 3 hours of sports a day or some shit is a disorder. Well, the fact of the matter is that if just like playing games for 3 or 4 hours a night doesn't mean that you have a disorder.
no.
It's if you're doing it to the detriment of other aspects of your life.
Yes.
Then
Then it's a problem.
Then it's a problem.
It's a problem. Period.
Then it's a problem. Period.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what it is that you're doing.
Yes.
It becomes a
If
problem.
you eat enough food all the time,
that's gonna
becomes
be that's gonna be a detriment
yes, it's going to become a problem.
to living.
Literally. And that's it, right? And then when all aspects of your life is going to shit, then you get depressed, right? And then it's
Exactly.
Then it's then you're gonna only want to do the thing that makes
That's
you
a
feel good.
vicious circle.
And that's playing video games or eating or going to the gym all the time or whatever, because nothing else in your life is going well because of the very thing that you're doing too much. So I think it's a great article or a great piece. I think I'm happy that it's being recognized.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age where, listen, 10 years ago, video games was not what it is today.
No.
I mean, it just wasn't.
No.
And now, since it's an everyday household thing, you've got big influencers that are making millions of dollars, living the dream and having fun, and it's great. A lot of kids out there want to follow suit.
I think the mobile stuff is really adding fuel to this fire as well, because you're always attached to your phone now, whereas before with games, mobile gaming for a time was actually pretty hard to do for any length of time because batteries. It wasn't something that everyone had. They weren't buying individual, like you had to buy like a Game Boy or a Sega Game Gear or some shit, or a 3DS or a DS back in the day, or an Advance or whatever you want to go back far, to PSPs and shit.
Yes.
But now it's everything is just here.
And a lot of it's free.
Yeah. And they put a lot of really addictive gambling like aspects to them to make them even more addicting.
Yep.
To drain people of their money over time, or increase the odds that they're going to want to spend money.
Yep.
And so not only is it already next to you all the time, and you feel like you want to do it, but they're putting these systems in that are built just like a casino to make you feel like you want to keep doing it.
It's a form of gambling.
It's a form of
an
gambling.
addiction. It's fun. It's exciting. You get your endorphins are fucking going crazy. You win something big. Yes.
So I really think the mobile side has contributed more than just the traditional gaming front.
I agree.
But
play Fortnite on your goddamn iPad.
Yeah, it follows you. It follows you everywhere, right?
Yes.
So I think
that's
definitely a big part of it. Another 5 coming in from Darko saying, unlike the so-called influencers today, people need this type of influence. Really, yeah. Well, people. It's not like Jeff said. It's not like we have, we have to do this. But I think it just makes sense. You have to make sure that people understand that. Look, you do. It's the joke. Just get the fuck out the house.
Yeah.
I had this discussion on stream yesterday when we were talking about with a couple of my viewers that have been having a rough go of it, and at the end of the day, it was like, look, life on the tech side of things these days, if you're not somebody who was brought up in a house where let's say sports was closer to what you were doing and like actively playing them and whatnot, there's no two ways around it. That's just a way healthier fucking life. You can't fucking deny the shit. You can try and argue it all day, but if you have somebody in your family that was like a hockey or a basketball or a soccer player or some shit, and that was where they got their interaction with other people, they're probably a lot more fucking socially adjusted and healthy than you are.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But the fact is that the point that I made was, no matter how much you want to believe, and I'll use the podcast as a good example of this, no matter how much you want to believe that interacting with other human beings over the internet, whether it's through a microphone or otherwise, even comes close to the interaction that you have when you're sitting in the same room as somebody and conversing, you really don't understand how big of a gap there is.
You spend too much time online.
You spend too much time online. You've convinced yourself otherwise, right?
Or either that, or you don't know any different.
Or you just know any different, right? So like it's a totally different ball game entirely, and not for any small reason. Like when we first started doing the podcast, even for us to try and interact, and we've been friends for fucking 20 years.
Yeah.
And for us to interact it was
different.
That was hard.
It was different.
And we were in this game doing this shit for 8 years.
Yes.
And it was still difficult.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah.
So imagine how much that means that you're lacking from a social interaction point for just being in a different fucking place as somebody else is a totally different ball game.
Dude, remember being in high school, junior high?
Sometimes I want to be back there just for at least a day.
Dude, like the amount of social interaction that I had with just people on a regular basis, whether it was people I liked or didn't like, just being around people. And then as an adult, now that I've been doing this job for forever and have been isolated so much, my social skills back then,
way better.
Infinitely so.
Dude, me and Cleveland went out to catch up here yesterday. Had a drink and a bite at Moxie's because like we're not sponsored by it, but low key Moxie's hit us up.
Fire, man. It's fire.
It's just fire spot. It's fire spot. So we go there and we're having a beer and catching up or whatever since his dad passed here like just a month ago or whatever and he and I are talking. That was relatively easy because we've been friends since we were 5 years old. And then the waitress comes over or whatever, and I'm struggling to have a normal interaction with the wit, like normally, like the stuff like my wit and whatever, gone. Yeah, it's fucking gone.
You need to process it too much.
You're thinking too much. The
gears are just
like anything I'm doing on stream, any kind of wit or whatever that I might just gone, and my head's just grinding, smoke coming out my ears and shit. Holy fuck! It was a struggle. We got there. We got through it.
Nice.
And you should have seen the size of the dessert that I got at the end. I opened the fucking container. I ordered one of the puddings to go or whatever, like a toffee pudding. And like the normal one is like, it's sizable, but it's just like it's a brownie basically. Dude, I got half a goddamn cake.
There you go.
The plastic container she brought over was this big.
Okay, they gave you the whole pot.
They gave me basically the whole fucking thing. And Ryan was like, Jesus!
Yeah.
It's like, I guess she must like me.
Oh, there you go.
Going back to Moxie's for more dessert.
Oh, gonna try and get some dessert.
No. She was nice though, but my social skills fucking hurting situation, bro. And that's just we spend all of our time online, and so it's body language, bro. You misinterpret or you forget how to even read body language properly anymore, and something that you did naturally is just gone. And now you're spending a lot of brain power, like trying to interpret body language.
Yeah,
and it's bad.
Well, dude, I'm gonna say this, and then we'll move on. Whenever I go to cons and shit, right? So say we go to PAX East, and I love meeting people from the stream and other streamers and shit, bro. But the amount of people, including myself at times,
awkward conversation,
bro.
Or just no conversation.
It's either, dude. It's socially awkward. It can be really, really awkward. But what's nice about being in that awkward position is everybody knows everybody's awkward, so it's not that awkward. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like we all know we're fucking weirdos.
Two negatives made a positive there.
Exactly. We're all nerds and we all spend too much time in the basement.
Yes.
And half of us forget to wear deodorant because we don't do it anyway, so the place stinks. It's awkward. It's awkward as fuck, right? And the only nerds that are really winning are the ones that are like got like the Asian chicks that are all into cosplay.
Yeah.
And they're like nerds and nerd ballers.
Yeah.
And they're just walking around with their side pieces.
Crazy nerd ball.
Oh, it's awesome, bro. I love it. I miss them.
It's but that's what it is. And so like there's a large part of it where I think a lot of people that spend a lot of time and kids coming up and stuff, that's where most of their interaction comes from when they're not in school. And as soon as you leave school,
you're fucked.
You're fucked.
I got pretty fucked. Dude, before I could go to, like, say if it was like a job interview or I had to do a presentation, I'd crush the shit. Dude, if I had to do a presentation now in front of some coworkers or like pitch a job or something, I'd have anxiety like a motherfucker. And that's coming from a guy that speaks for a living in front of thousands of people that I could bat an eye. I'd be like, whatever, I could do that. But in person, I'd be like, oh, fuck.
Oh,
I'd be trying to prepare the night before and I wouldn't even sleep well the night before. I'd have anxiety about it. Straight up.
100%. You pulling all-nighters and shit.
Yes.
That was bad.
That's real life, bro.
That's bad.